Hello, welcome back. Or if it's your first time, welcome. Let's get right into flashcards with NotebookLM. They made a couple of changes where if you use flashcards, I think you'll care about them a lot. So to just get to this page, it's notebooklm.google.com. And then this is your homepage. And if you already have flashcards, this applies, or you can create a new notebook or go into an existing notebook and create new flashcards. I'm going to use the flashcards that are in the Intro to NotebookLM notebook because it's just easier, and honestly, I don't use flashcards that much. So I'll come in here and then we'll go to flashcards, and if you're not familiar with flashcards, let me just expand this so you can see a little better. Basically, it will look at the sources that you have, and then it'll create flashcards. It usually creates between like 50 and like 75. This one has 59. And then you go through and it'll ask you something on the first side, and then you're supposed to basically answer it. And then you click it and it'll flip it over and it'll show you what the answer is. And then if your answer before you flipped it matched what the actual answer is, then you click the check saying that you got it. If it's not, then you click no. So for example, like reading this flashcard, NotebookLM's interface is organized in a 3-panel design consisting of sources, chat, and the blank panel. That should be studio. It is, so I got that one right. And NotebookLM's 3-panel design, which panel is designated as the input area for uploading research materials. That would be sources panel, etc. Right? So it's like, let's say I read this one and I thought it was something, and like, oh, I got that one wrong. And then you keep going through, right? So that's just flashcards in a nutshell. So now the way that they used to work till, I don't know, a week or so ago, if I came in here and I went through, let's say got through 6 of these, and then I'm like, okay, I gotta go do something else. And I minimize that, and then I go away. When I would come back to flashcards, it would always go back to the beginning of the deck. Now, so let's simulate this. I go out of there and I'm like, I have to go do some stuff, and I go into another recipes notebook because I don't know, there's pictures of steak in here and maybe I'm hungry, so it's just like, okay, yeah, steak is delicious. Okay, steak, okay. And then it's like, all right, I got to get back to my flashcards. So now I come back here and then I scroll down to my flashcards, which are right here. And then now this doesn't go back to 1. Like this before would always go back to the first flashcard. Now it holds your place. So now you can just come right back and pick up right where you left off. Again, if you use flashcards a lot, this is kind of a big deal because it's like sometimes you don't have time or desire to go through 59 flashcards. Maybe you get through 10 and then you have to research something or go off on some kind of tangent. Like it was frustrating for people that it would always go back to the beginning, and then you have to click through, however many to get back there. You have to remember your place. Now it just holds your place. So I think that's a pretty big one. Next thing that it can do now that it couldn't do before is if you're in whichever flashcard deck that you have, you click on the little ellipsis here in the upper right-hand corner. You now have an option to shuffle. And this was not here before. So basically, in this case, if you had 51 flashcards, they were in whatever order and they were stuck in that order. So if you were studying for a test or a certification or something, you go through your flashcards and it was just like, maybe you want to go through the deck 5 times, 10 times, 20 times. After you go through them a certain amount of times in the same order, you're going to start to remember that, okay, this is the next one. Okay. And the value of them goes down a little bit. And if you've ever made like actual flashcards and like little index cards or whatever you put them on, what at least I would do is like go through them however many times, and then I would manually shuffle them because, again, like you're going to remember the order of things and it's not valuable. Now you can do that in here. You come in here and you shuffle it. So now the next time you go through it, they're going to be in a different order. Again, if you use flashcards, that is really helpful. Another option in the same menu is it now allows you to delete individual cards. So it's like if I didn't want number 6 in here, I can come in here, again, click on the little ellipsis, and then I can delete just this card. Again, this option didn't exist before at all. There was an option, let me get out of here. There was an option, I can't do it on this one because it's the shared notebook that I don't have full access to. If this was one of my notebooks, I could click on the little ellipsis here and I could delete the entire deck of flashcards. This is not that. This is if I just want to delete this individual flashcard, number 6 on here, then I can click on delete and then this specific card goes away. I don't want to delete it out of here, and I don't think I can because it's the shared notebook. But again, if this was one of my notebooks, I could actually delete an individual card, which would be useful if maybe the deck that this generated, just like it picked something, maybe you had a source selected that you didn't want, or just had a question that isn't relevant to what you're doing, and you just want to get that 1 out of there, maybe 5 out of there, whatever it is. So now you can delete individual cards from the deck. The other one, I have to actually be done with the entire deck. So I'm just going to click through these really quickly, and then I will come back once I'm done with all 59 of them. Okay, so went through, clicked through them really quickly, and now I'm on the last card. All right, so now let's say I go through this, and I think there's an answer, and like, hey, I got that one right. Okay, so now I'm done. And it gives me this little summary page, and it's like, okay, I got 43 right, I missed 16. Here's a percentage. Here's how long it took. Hopefully yours takes longer than that, because you don't just click through them really quickly, but choose your path. So it gives you this summary, which, okay, that's useful. And then you can kind of keep track of this, and then next time you go through, maybe you get 90%, and then you get 60%, and you have to study more, whatever it is. The new thing, in addition to that, is you can practice again, and you can do every card, which that's what it did before, so that's not really new. But now you can do only the cards that you missed, which, again, if you've done flashcards either on a different platform or just old school way of just actually having physical flashcards, a lot of times you would make 2 separate piles when you, like the ones you got right and the ones that you got wrong, and then you would just go back through the ones that you missed just so that you can kind of know that stuff before the test. You couldn't do this before NotebookLM. Now you can actually just single out the ones that you missed and go through those again. Again, if you use flashcards to prepare for something, this can be really useful and save you a bunch of time. So those are the changes. Again, they're not huge changes. I mean, they kind of are. If you use flashcards, I think those are kind of big. But just to go over them again, you can resume from where you left off. So if I was in here and started over and I had 5 in here, and I go and I do something else, and if I even close NotebookLM and come back in or go to another notebook and then come back to flashcards, it will hold my place. Did not do that before. I can delete individual flashcards. So if I'm on whichever card I don't want, I click on the little ellipsis, I can delete whichever one I don't want. From the same menu, if I have gone through this however many times and I want the order to be mixed up, I can now shuffle the set. And then I'm not going to go to the end again, but then when I'm through all of the flashcards, it'll give me a summary of how many I got right, how many I got wrong, and then it will give me the choice to either go through all of the cards again or just the ones that I missed. Those are the changes. If you use flashcards in NotebookLM, you'll probably appreciate them. Maybe this is enough for you to start using them. Choose your path. Let us know if you have any questions. See you next time.